Thank you all for being a part of Gaia's Zoom room tonight. Here it is on the 17th of December. Oh my gosh. I'm here at my mom's house. And I'm very aware that time takes us into new places, and the people that you're with may not be there next time. And so I have been lost
Mm,
in
funny.
enjoyment of the
$21
now.
there. Jesus.
And Marco, you okay? I'm
Yeah,
going to.
sorry, I didn't realize I was unmuted. I just got
I
out of
didn't
the
see you,
hospital.
Marco.
Oh, Marco, you just got out of the hospital. Are you okay?
Yeah, I will be.
Oh,
Ah, sweetie. Well, I'm glad. Thank you so much for opening Gaia's Zoom room for us
yeah.
and
Yeah,
being here for us. And if you have to go, you can certainly make me host and go and rest
yeah, we're
or
just get
hang
getting
around.
gas, and then I got to go in a little bit and pick up my prescriptions.
Okay.
Ah, all will be fine.
All right. Well,
Take care,
thank you.
Marco.
Yes.
Yep, I'll be here.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that. Thank you so much, Marco.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you all for being so wonderful.
Oh.
Well, we do our best, don't we? This is the um, um, time of humanity in which we are finding the best way forward through our hearts. And it's been an adventure. It has certainly been adventure. Um, Angela, I see you walking around, and I'm going to call on you because you're walking around, of course, and I want to be the center of your attention. Wrong, no, but I am. I'm wondering how things are going with you. How are things going?
They're going very well, very well. I'm packing. I'm getting ready to go. I leave on Monday, the 23rd. So
Excellent.
yeah, I'm a little bit tired, finishing up a job and finishing networking with a bunch of people here in the community and setting some people up with some things and having a yard sale and oh my goodness gracious. It's a lot of fun, but it's a lot of work at the same time. So I'm a little bit tired and I'm making myself some dinner because I worked all day. So that's why you see me walking around here.
Well, thank you so much for being here and a part of this. You know, the moving parts. These are, you are all the moving parts of my reality, and I'm so glad that you're here and that you're going to be joining Steve and this, this is the fun part, and I looking on at you as you are doing all the things that you're doing. I am so glad I'm not you. Um, and I've done my moving in my life, and being on the road and all of that. It's exciting, and I know it demands a lot of you.
Oh, it
And
does.
yeah,
It does. It does. And and patching up some things and giving some things back to some people and saying goodbye and all that other stuff. That's a little bit extra too. And so I've been teaching some people some different things before I leave and all that kind of good stuff too. So that's always intriguing. They're
yeah.
like, you got to show me how to do this and show me how to do this and show me how to do this before you go. And I'm like, okay, no problem, sure.
I'll
So
stuff you in between garage sales and phone calls. And Zoom
garage
calls.
sales, phone calls, NOLs, and corporation boards, mankinder meetings. Meeting over there with Steve and his crew, and meetings over here, and yeah, yeah. I'm going to make time for Bunny and Kate before I go because I want to check in with them and talk to them before I leave from here, so I can solidify those kind of things as well. So yeah,
Excellent.
it's definitely an intriguing process, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being here and a part of this. So I'm going to say hi to other people in the room now, so you can get about your stuff. Thanks, Angela. Um, uh, Joan, I haven't seen you all week, and I haven't heard from you, so I'm going to go to you next.
Oh, thank you. Just doing a lot of stuff. It's been snowy. It's been warmer today. The snow went away, which was nice. But we had a very severe weather situation here. So it was like where they were saying, don't go out, it's too slippery and that kind of stuff. But now it's not. We're okay. And I think it went up to about 40 today.
Okay, so all the snow did go away.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Good. Well, I'm glad you're safe at home, and
Yeah.
yeah,
We're
good.
here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good. My love to Alex, and I'm glad. And I'm glad
He's sleeping.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Okay.
And we just
Well,
finished dinner, so that's what he does.
it's very good that you're here with us to keep you amused while he sleeps.
I'm happy to be here. Absolutely. Yeah.
Pati, how's Brazil?
Well, the weather is a little bit more stable. I'm here right now in São Paulo for, was mentioned. I think, who mentioned it, Angela, that I'm turning a page that I never thought I would. Aside from this moment I had of sickness that I almost died and had to be in an ambulance and taken because I really was out of it completely. And then I'm back well, but I'm turning a page. I came to São Paulo to give away everything I have in the apartment I had, try to sell it and just give everything, empty it and start all over, because I do want to dedicate really my time to the NGO up there. So I need the resources. I need to really put my focus there, but it's not easy to detach from this place I lived for 25 years, which I have everything there, beautiful, really nice books because of my bookstore, CDs because of when I had a music label. And so I have all these things to give them away, and just start all over. That's one thing that these past days I've been, drawing my energy deeply, and then the grandchildren and this and that, and trying to bureaucracies. But Sao Paulo, Brazil is, it's the weather is okay, is more stable, but I'm looking forward to what you mentioned about Brazil. We're going to have the climate thing, and that story in the Amazon, and as soon as possible I'm going to put my attention there to see how I can come close to it and help and contribute.
Yeah.
But this period has been very significant in learning how to detach, how to just give away, empty, and become naked, really, of everything. So it's a new moment. 2025 is really very challenging. So I'm here to see what I can offer and how I can do it better. Okay, that's it for now.
Thank you so much for sharing with us, Pati, the challenges of your moments. My. It's a challenging thing to contemplate. And I remember when I went to Rotterdam, I put my car up on blocks because I didn't feel that I was going forever. And I wound up being gone for a year and came back to my car and sold it because it was my resources for going forward. And so that's what your apartment has been, I think, for you as resources in keeping for now.
And the experience, the almost death experience I had, also gave me that, you know, death is right here next to me. You know, any moment we can all leave. And having been in the ambulance and just completely out of it, you know, being taken to the, and I said goodbye, you know, I really detached, you know, and this is something that is right here, right now for all of us. And I experienced that. So this is an ongoing process of being here and now. And tomorrow, I don't know. So I have to do my best now and be present as best I can. That's it. And do everything I can, you know, Mom.
Yeah, good for you. Good for you. And honestly, the best things about you, Pati, are not the things that you have. They are the things that you are. Thank you so much for all that you are. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much for being here. Jerry, I was going to come to you last, but for some reason you're calling out to me. How are you?
I'm doing good, and it's a good thing to come in a little early because I too have to get up at 5:30 in the morning to take my father to the doctor, and it's already like, you know, after 9, almost 9:30 here our time. But I would like to report a couple of really great things that's been happening. Most of you guys know Michael Kemp, and
He got kidnapped.
Say, Marco?
Oh, sorry.
I'm going to mute you.
Unmuting.
yeah. So I had an hour meeting with him today and an hour meeting with him yesterday. And if you know about Michael, he is one of the busiest. He's got like 20 projects going at once. I think he told me the last 30 days he did 20 live concerts and events. So, I mean, he's like very busy. And what we talked about is very exciting is he's very much into this virtual reality where people wear those glasses and they experience concerts or whatever kinds of things. And we've been talking about doing a film coming from, there's an overview point that looks over a lot of the monastery property. And then there's a trail that goes gently down all the way to the river. And we're talking about filming it in January so that it'll be virtual reality so people can experience literally walking through the jungle with all the plants and animals. I mean, that trail has everything from citrus to coffee to sweet potatoes to all kinds of orchids to all kinds of ginger all along the trail. So that'll be fun. And then Shannon connected me to a nice lady in Germany who's an architect and most amazing architect. I hadn't even thought of the angle that she was coming from. You know, I thought about the property and the buildings kind of aligned to the star systems and some of that kind of stuff. But she says, no, it's more important to actually be aligned to the mountains, to the rivers, and all that kind of stuff that I hadn't even thought about the relationship of the buildings to the different kinds of land features and so forth. So that was a really good conversation. And she's like, we talked about that architecture is like one of the most long lasting forms of art. And that she says that it's really important that art of architecture changes with time, which I thought was a very interesting concept because you don't regularly think of architecture as changing, but this is her point. So we had a really good conversation for an hour yesterday, I think it was, with her. So yes, things are developing right along.
I'm so glad, Jerry. Thank you so much. And some of you may know Katrin Schmack is Katrin Schmack. We met her in Crestone, Colorado for Earthstock. She was there. Really, really nice. Pati, you might remember her. Katrin, very tall woman. She wore the headdress. Yeah. Yeah, she was nice. And because of her experience with architecture, I thought she and Jerry should meet. And so it turns out I was right. I like that very much.
Network.
Thanks very much, Jerry. I'm so glad that you guys hit it off, and I look forward to ongoing news from you guys about that.
Yes. I sent you kind of a summary of our event, our time together.
Yeah, I was hoping that you would bring that to the rest of us as time goes on in this meeting,
Oh, okay.
if you like. If not, that's okay too. And
You summed it up pretty much just for the group just now.
oh, that was okay. That's good. Thank you so much, Jerry. I want to go on and say hello to Stanley. Good morning, good evening, Stanley. How are you?
I'm asleep.
Really? You're giving a very good facsimile of
No,
awareness.
no, all I've been doing all day and much of the last several days, and I don't know why I'm sleeping so.
Well, it could be like you're on holidays.
All Ron's music, and I got
You've all-
two. I have now 3 of his albums. Maybe they can help my brain start to work again. I don't know. Doesn't seem like it's done the job yet.
Well, you need energizing music as well as the relaxation stuff.
Well, first I need to sleep until I don't sleep anymore. Don't sleep. Don't
That
have to
doesn't
sleep.
sound
Yeah, I mean, right now that's all I can do is sleep, and except for right now because my alarm went off, and oh, it's time for something to happen. So
Something happened.
yeah, I'm really glad I was able to figure out how to set my alarm for weekly events. And it tells me, oh, it's Tuesday. Okay, time to talk to Shannon.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, so that's really good. No, I have my massage friend
Uh-huh.
writing to me.
Stan. Hello. Stan.
Maybe his
Oh,
computer stopped.
In the
yeah.
corner and do a massage right here, and
So
instead of
she's
going to
coming to
her.
visit you in your home.
Yes, I'm going to ask her if she'll do that. I think she will because she's been here before. I invited her to dinner a
Right.
month or 2 ago, and so she came over and met Sally, and we had a good conversation and a nice dinner. And
Nice.
yeah, and where is he? He's not here. Uh, our friend Bob has managed to
Bob
get me.
Hicks.
He managed to get me to go and get in the swimming pool,
Good.
and keeps pestering me. When are we going to go again? And
Good. Good. Well, it gets both of you out, and I think that's a
Mhm.
very good thing,
Yeah,
Stan.
I felt really bad because it was pouring rain when we parted, and he wouldn't take a ride to the bus with his bicycle. So
Ah,
I assume he's written to me since that he didn't end up getting sick from driving his bike in the rain. But I mean, I don't believe it was so cold in New York that you had snow because New York is not very far. Usually New York and Philadelphia have the same weather, but yeah, I don't know.
well, I
It
wish you
hasn't been
both.
cold here. We didn't have
Uh,
any snow, and but of course I haven't been outside, but that's okay.
so stay warm, Stan. Stay
Yeah,
warm.
thank you.
And Joan, you stay warm too. Yeah.
Oh, we're warmer today,
Yes. Good.
you know,
I'm glad. Yeah.
and we keep warm in the house when it's cold.
Good. Good. And Bunny, I see your face, so I'm going to go to you next. How are you?
Just great. I have to say that this time of year, sleep is the appropriate thing from about December 15th to January 15th because of the time of year it is. There's a part of our biology that kind of goes into hibernation a little bit. So it's a good time for sleep, and be gentle with yourself and don't push yourself too much. It's not a coincidence that people celebrate and have ceremonies this time of year. It's just kind of a time of either resting or socializing. So take advantage of that. I'm still in my solitary, joyous confinement here, working on my project and by the pellet stove, and happy to be here. Seems like there's not enough time in every day. And then when I sleep the project. It keeps coming back in dreams. And yet I wake in the morning questioning, what am I doing and why? How did I get stuck with this? And help me. I need help. I don't. I have still resisted this quite often through the years. When I first came across this and it was gifted me, I've tried to get so many other people to do it, to be it, and to manifest it. And it always falls back on me. If not you, who? So I trust the direction, but I'm often puzzled by it. And when the challenge of the puzzle comes, I just dig in and go, challenges are great learning experiences. And so I'm just joyful for the learning. And if all this is just for my learning, it's been well worth it all the way up to this very second. So I'm really grateful.
Honestly, we're in the learning process, aren't we? And I'm going to reassure you, Bunny. It's only you are perfect for what you have been called for.
Oh, that's so sweet. You know, I tell other people that all the time. I always say, why are we surprised when our prayers come true? If we didn't think it was going to come true, why would we bother praying or placing the intent? And so then when the miracles happen, we go, oh, my prayer was answered. And I always kind of laugh at people and myself when that happens. I go, well, didn't you know there's the power of the universe is love? So I always laugh at that, and it's one of my funniest jokes is, why are we surprised when good things happen? And they always do. So it's a good thing. Thank you for that reminder, though.
Well, yeah, you're not speaking all of this wisdom for other people only. It's for you too. Yeah.
That's where it's all at.
Well, I was very, very pleased.
And it gets heard other places.
Bunny, I want to thank you for the 12 questions, the filling out of that and doing the exercise, and for the clarification that you offered. I hope others had a look at the agenda that was sent out that includes the minutes and the link to to your document that provides the clarification. That is so. The vision is very clear when it comes through you. And honestly, the 12 questions allows the funnel to get it spread out into how an investor looks at it. But by going through that process, it allows other people to see the process as well. And it allows Steve, who will be next in line today, it allows him to see and to be able to put that out to prospective investors. And so thank you so much for doing that work.
Well, thank you for asking.
Well, here we are in it, Angela did such good work on hers as being first, and my stumbles through the questions, and Bunny, yours as well. And I think it allows everybody to realize that these questions are an exercise that helps us to get clarity on what we want. It also helps Steve do his job as well. But to go through those questions helps us to see what it is that we're trying to do. And I think it's a valuable exercise to go through. And thank you for doing yours.
Well, any given day of the week, I'd give you another whole 12 answers. So it's transforming all the time. In my sleep, I'm answering those questions. I've been doing that for several years now. And every time I try to describe it, it's not any easier to do.
Well,
So-
having them written down this time, maybe that'll make a difference, eh?
Every time I rework it, it seeks a different level. So that's good.
Great. Thank you so much. Hey, Steve, how you doing?
I've had better days. I'm okay. I'm going through some health issues and things like that and taking care of cleaning up some things. And that's where I'm at right now. Working on projects. Taking a day or two to myself right now. Kind of down for a day or two.
Well, I'm glad that you managed to keep Gaia's Zoom room in mind and that you're here and keeping all our projects and all of your balls in the air. This is, and I want to, at this point in time, thank you, Steve, for bringing in that aspect. And Bunny, you mentioned it as well. This is a time for hibernation or holidays. And that's why I have called off the next 2 weeks of Gaia's Zoom room, because I'm going to be on the road next week. And the week after that, it's the 31st. And nobody wants to come to Gaia's Zoom room on New Year's Eve. So the 7th of December, by then, I think we'll probably have something to report. And it's, we have done very, very well, I think, over the last, since August. This has been a hairy go round, I think, you know, Steve,
And I think you meant January, not December. 7th of January.
7th of January. That's right. Did I say December?
You did.
I
7th
did.
of January is so much better than 7th of December.
Oh, yes. Oh,
it's
yeah.
my
Well,
birthday.
let's not go back in time. Oh, man. I'm so glad you guys keep me in line as much as possible anyway. So, Steve, take care of yourself, and I'm glad you're here. If you have anything else that you would like to say at this point, you're more than welcome.
Right now, no. I reserve my right to interject later.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I know that you've got a lot of work cut out for you, getting the house ready to have an extra person in the house. And I know that having a roommate is different, and that you guys are going to get along just fine. I would like to say hello to Jack. Jack, how are you tonight?
Flashing on and off.
I noticed that about his camera, but his microphone works. So I'm hoping that Jack will be able to come in and talk to us. There he is.
Yeah, I can talk to you, I think.
Yeah.
And what was Oh, shoot, I had an opening line there. What was your last comment? Oh, hoping I'm doing well. Well, it just so happens I had my yearly physical exam at the VA today, and I seem to be very healthy. So that's good. And what I'm working on, basically, and yeah, well, my computer, I bought a new one and they sent it, and there's some problems with it. A brand new computer, and there's some administrative things. So I gotta use this older, not very powerful computer, and it can't do the video and at the same time. So anyway, what I'm trying to do is we're getting close to the Martin Luther King time, and We the World, which I volunteer with as a co-coordinator of their economic justice campaign. So I'm doing a couple of events with people from the solidarity economy. So I'm working on that and trying to get that organized, and it's not always easy sometimes with the people that you're working with, but I think it'll happen, and I'm sure it'll happen, but it'll be okay. And then, of course, like I said, I think the last time that I'm trying to figure out how to use John Raymer's One World thing to help and encourage more of the people working for a better world to get more organized. Because I see John Raymer as the person who, in the groups that we hang out with, as being maybe the most involved or into putting together online infrastructure to help people come together and give events and things like that. But I don't see, unfortunately, of course, this is my opinion and my thinking, but is that so many of these things that he enables to happen, it's not his fault, but they don't seem to be things that are adding to the organization of the people who want a world that works for all. So anyway, we'll see if we can get involved and have some influence on that. And of course, when Stanley gets over his sleepiness, maybe we can figure out how he might want to, if he wants to participate in putting something like that together. And since I got a few other things I have to get done tonight, I guess I'm gonna leave now that I have my say. I couldn't leave until I got to talk, But anyway.
Well, I'm sorry I let you talk at all then, Jack. I'm very interested in knowing more about We the World and oneworld.earth. We the World is Jana Larson, and you had an interview with her, didn't you?
Yeah, and well, Jana Larson is my co-coordinator on the economic justice. So yeah, Jana and I know each other quite well.
Oh, nice.
And of course, Rick Elphick is the founder and kind of the chief guy there.
Yeah, how's he feeling? He was not well at one point.
Yeah, he had at least one stroke, I think maybe two, but he's doing pretty good right now. He's he could be a little more energetic, I guess, but no, he's out there doing events and interviewing people and pretty much back to form. So yeah, that's working out quite good. Glad you asked. Because he's a pretty cool person and he's done a lot. And it was really scary there for a while because he was pretty far down there.
Yeah. I'm glad he's that you're able to give him good news about him. you heard anything between you and Stan about the Media Alliance?
Well, I've
It's all
heard,
coming along, and I'm supposed to do some stuff by reading reading Kurt Johnson's stuff, and it hasn't happened yet. And I'm not sure where it is, and I don't know what I'm looking for. That Shannon says she sent out stuff, and I don't see it yet.
Well, I tell you what, I can put a link in the chat. Copy link in the chat. There you go.
Okay, did you send this by email?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, well,
Um,
agenda. I
so
don't
Stanley,
see.
did you go to the meeting Monday?
I did, and I recorded it, so I can.
You recorded it?
I did.
Could you send it to me? Because somehow
Okay.
I lost track of time and missed it. And I
All right. Yeah.
didn't want to
Well,
miss it because it's a very important meeting, I think.
well, it was. That's why I recorded it. I can't remember anything, but okay. I'll see
So
what I
the
can do
possi-
I'll see what I can do to get you to hear it or see
Yeah,
it.
I would really appreciate it because I'm trying to see if that group is something that I want to continue with because it's got some really cool people in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that Roger is into my economic thing, but we'll see if others are. But anyway, yeah, if you can do it because I would really like to not miss what happened there.
Okay. I'll see. I have to put it on somewhere. I can't send it to you. It's too big. It's like 2 gigabytes or something like that.
Oh, wow.
Well, it's a video recording, and they have a tendency to get large.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, do what you can.
Okay.
As long as you're going to the effort to do that, if you can hit one more button and send it to me too, I would appreciate it.
Okay.
Make your way to the self-checkout. Again,
Yeah,
we
have
10
you-
minutes remaining and all the restrooms will be closed.
Okay.
Where
Have you
are
been
you?
getting emails from Kurt Johnson?
Who are you talking to?
Marco, I think.
Marco?
Not directly, I don't believe.
Oh, okay. Well, that's weird.
I think you've been the weak tie, Stan.
Yes, right.
Yeah, Stan got me connected, and I really appreciate that because this is a group that I think has a lot of potential. And they're already now basically a synergy circle for the
Yes.
evolutionary elders. So we'll see if they're going to do things that I feel are useful to my time. But just being around those people is good.
Yeah. John Raymer is organizing the next 3 months or something of all kinds of activities.
Yeah, so we have to help John Raymer point all his activity in a direction that we feel is maybe a little more useful in a sense because he
Well,
definitely has the ability.
yeah.
Well, and what would well, here's just a thought, and then I'll let other people talk. But I'm just kind of just something to think about a little bit is how you put Raymer's ability to put all these things together, these infrastructure for online activity, and put that together with your database.
Right. Well, what I said to them during that meeting on Monday was that I need help. I need help figuring out what I should be doing in order to document what's going on with them, and I can't follow it because it's too much. It's all this stuff, more, words, more words, more words, and more words. And I don't like words. I mean, I put up with them.
All right.
Words are what your business is, Stanley.
Yeah, well, so no,
how
my
we
business
connect.
is to take all the words in the world and make them a quarter big, at least
Make them what?
a quarter of their size.
A quarter of their size.
Yes, like, here comes everybody. Okay, that tells you a whole book's worth of 200 pages. So that's what I like to do is say, okay, well, what is this about? Well, the world is all coming out to talk to each other, and that book is now 10 or 15 years old. So we knew that. Now we're suffering the consequences.
Yeah.
And so there's all this stuff to do we have to look at it all? I can't look at it all. So anyway, and so now I get to read Bunny's one pager. That's a good thing.
You do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's good reading.
Okay.
I especially appreciated the clarification, which made it so much more powerful than what the 12 questions gave the impression of. And I look forward to being able to dive into that more powerfully. And I'm sorry that Michael Wisnu is not here, because that, I think, is in alignment with what he would like to be working on. But that's, Angela, I hope you managed to pass that Bunny's one pager on to Michael Wisnu. And so we can talk about that in the new year.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. I'm sending his one pager off to Michael. Actually, I've been communicating with Michael about Bunny a lot. And
Are you
so,
good?
of course,
Excellent.
he's an integral part of my team.
Well, yeah,
He's a marketing
absolutely.
director and all kinds of amazing stuff. So yes, I'm coordinating with him as well. That's why another reason I want to touch base with Buddy before I leave. So
yeah. So you guys
have
are
a few-
actually going to meet up face to face? Is this what you're saying?
yes, I'm going to meet Michael face to face. Yep,
Oh,
in
you're
person.
going to meet
In
Michael.
live. And I should be able to meet Bunny in person too. She's from my hometown state.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. I have relatives where she lives, for goodness gracious. So yes. Yeah, and it'll be a lot of fun.
Good. Yeah. In the minutes document, there's the chat from last week is in there, so you've got each other's contact information and all. So yeah, I hope you guys appreciate all the work I do for you guys. I don't know. Thank you, Bunny and Angela, and Blue. It's I don't know when to stop is what it is. And it's just, well, if it seems like it's important, then I'll just throw it in. So it's what it is. So, and I see Patty's gone to sleep on us, and that's okay. I hope you're feeling better, darling. Yeah. So the things that I wanted to talk about, have I got everybody there? I said everybody, hi to everybody except Marco, but he seemed to be busy. Marco, would you like to bring yourself in? Can't hear you.
I'm just about to go through the checkout here. I only got a couple items. I will get back to you.
All right, that sounds good. So I'm just going to go over our agenda for today. And so the first was welcome and agreements. So we're all going to be nice to each other. And the minutes and summary from last week. And there's nothing unusual or unexpected in any of those, I'm sure. Otherwise, you would now speak your piece and tell me that I've done something wrong. So if nobody says anything, I'm going to assume that it's all okay. And so project updates, I wanted to let you guys know that the shared directory is there for all of us, the one-pagers, so that we can all have a look at Bunny's one-pager, the Angela's one-pagers, mine, which is one of them is Stan's. If I were to go and open the one-pagers, I would see there's other networks and Bunnies, Our Heart Gardens, which, if I remember correctly, really needs work. Jim's Nuggets is the funding proposal, and Gaia's Zoom Room and crowdfunding for Jim's Nuggets, which is very similar to the funding proposal, and Angela's. But those are what we're working on. So they're there for you to have a look at if you're interested.
Okay, I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, the agenda is the first thing in the chat, Stan.
In the chat.
Yeah.
Docs.
So if you, yep.
Okay, so all right.
So now you'll know what I'm talking about.
Well, maybe.
All in good time. It'll all work out, Stan. It'll all work out. And Bunny, your project comes up first on the agenda after all of that. And I was wondering if you want to, in so many words, talk about it, what you have already in place. I loved the clarification that you gave. And if you want to speak to that, you're more than welcome.
Well, I often assume that everybody on the planet has read I Left My Heart at Wounded Knee or seen the movie. But that's not always the case. This site is on our Black Hills Treaty Lands. And then the last Yellowstone episode, I don't want to give it away, but it's interesting that the property that was sold at Yellowstone for the final episode was for $1.25 an acre, which was the final offer that the U.S. government had offered Sitting Bull and Red Cloud and the gathering there. And the story is that when there were two pieces of paper, and the ones who didn't agree to sell that property and divide it up into plots so that each person and family could have this plot forever for their family, for future generations, land that didn't grow anything. They were to sign. If they didn't agree, sign it in the black piece of paper. If they did agree, they would sign it in the red. And by that time, all the rations were down to nothing. The people were starving. They were dying from disease. None of the promises or the agreements that had been made had been kept. And they were, anyway, this is on this land that is deeply a part of the threefold cord of the Lakota and many, many, many other indigenous nations who remember their roots, that it's the land and the spirituality and the people that make that cord strong. And it doesn't belong to any one person or any one group. But if you look at the distant translations of all those ancient peoples, they were the caretakers of the earth. They were the people of the dust. They were the people that Creator commissioned to care for these lands that they were born on and part of. So that kind of reiterates how this is not a social gathering or a big event or a fun time, or it is a celebration though, because in the dream it was envisioned to gather all of humanity in the resonance of gratitude and love that we've made it this far. Who knows what's going to happen between now and the time this event actually manifests? It was a time to dedicate a natural monument to humanity's healing, and give a picture in our mind of a tree stump that has stayed for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, chopped down by bullies, and in our own heart that tree comes to life again. And healing is an inside job, as Sadhguru or Thich Nhat Hanh or any of those beautiful teachers would tell us, that it's an inside job. So when we heal ourselves, we radiate that healing out, and that energy fills the room. And the better we get at resonating that within ourselves, the more the whole rest of the world is healed. If a butterfly can change the weather from the other side of the world to where we are, think what our resonance as sovereign divine beings really holds. And of course, all the science I share in the app is resonating that too. We live in a great time where we can say this isn't just old-fashioned indigenous or superstitious stories. All these fairy tales, so to speak, resonate with truth and love and inclusiveness. So that's what this event is about. But it's hard to put in a 30-second sales pitch, which is what is required of most apps. And the giveaway is also another part that makes it close to impossible. But so far, I'm still here because it's not about, we all have to learn how to do the giveaway, be the giveaway, share what we have, not because we're looking for what's in it for me. It's what's in it for future generations. And in that process, we are healed and blessed beyond belief. And I have to say that from my standpoint, this passionate falling in love with this project has just been life-giving to me. So I'm thankful for it, however it turns out. But so that's kind of the feeling behind this. And to have one person lead a prayer or be a speaker, to me, is like imposing that belief system and that culture on another tribe. This is to embrace people who are in all different stages of awakening. There's a whole lot of people that claim to be, I'm awakened, I can tell you my awakening moment. And from my own experience, I was awakened when I was 5 years old. But it happens in waves and in depths of understanding every day. Sometimes it changes. So to honor and respect people from all those different variables of awakening, and tribes and tongues and cultures and teachings and sorrows and pains and disappointments that they've come through. This is a uniting moment so that the oneness of our humanity can rise for just a few moments and resonate globally around the world. That's why I wanted to have it filmed I didn't want to. This is the way it came in my dream. all in 4 directions. There's people filming it and it's streaming, and somebody in a little van somewhere's piecing it all together and sending it out to the internet. And people all over the world are watching it in their hands. This was before there were iPhones. I thought, that's weird. They're all watching it on their hands and crying. It's so beautiful. Oh, there's more people like us in the world we didn't know. And so that's my chopped up version of my one pager. But in order to do that, there's a lot of quote impossibilities. We have a 2-lane road going into the national monument now that's been renamed, a most sacred, beautiful, healing place on this Turtle Island, that indigenous people came to long distances to pray for healing for Mitaku Yeoyasi, all our relations. It wasn't just a Lakota thing. Many people came here for centuries to pray for her healing and peace and harmony and abundance and balance on the earth now and for future generations. But we live in this transitional, wonderful time when humanity has this technology that actually connects us globally with one another as a training wheels tool, because lo and behold, Egyptians and people in India and the healers of the past all knew that we all have the capacity to remote heal one another, to heal this and to communicate. Everything we have on the phone plus some, we have that within our own bodies and hearts and mind connection. But we have just forgotten this and discarded it. I always tell me, why did Jesus even walk on the water? It's kind of a cheap trick, to accomplish. It showed us that every one of us should be able to walk on the water as a matter of course. And he said, you'll do things greater than this. And we are at that pivotal point in humanity rising to do that. And this event is the way of celebrating that and helping those who haven't reached that understanding yet to think of it, conceive of it, and join as one human family of all nations to really begin the real work of all the communities that, I mean, you guys see the vision. You have global projects. You probably were afraid to call it a global project when it first came to you. And a lot of times in the last 2 or 3 years when I'm trying to explain it, people just couldn't get out of this bubble that we're in of all the problems that are right here, or what we see on the news. And once we get that perspective, that larger view, we go, we don't have problems. We have nothing but opportunities here to shapeshift every fear to a place of love and gratitude. So that's really not following a step-by-step program, but that's the vision.
I understand, and I love that you are so on fire about your vision of what needs to be done. And I love that, it is a ceremony and that you have been called to make happen. And I believe that there are people to help you produce such a thing. It is an event, though, Bunny. The way the way that that producers talk about these things. It's like, in order to put up, 400 traditional teepees, you're going to have to you need a coordinator, and to have utensil washing stations for the 400 traditional teepees and the people who are going to be in them. I mean, there's going to be logistics that are going to have to be handled, and so it's an event as much as it's a ceremony. It's an event as well, and it's
That's
going.
why lost sleep of it the first year because all the details of the event were keeping me awake and challenged, because there are so many little details like that um, I've got a budget. I've got, how much I need for each item. I've got it itemized. I keep looking at it and changing it. I know groups who've had events similar to this that have 10,000 people, and they do it well. So I'm not trivializing the logistics, because that was the first headache of this whole thing, is that first year working on the app, trying to put the content in there, and all the time just thinking, how can this even happen here? It's only 60 hotel rooms in the little town I live in, 9 miles away. So yeah, I get it. I definitely get it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's fun to be around you, Bunny.
And and I don't talk about the details of it much because the event itself overwhelms people. And I mean, the purpose of it overwhelms people. So to fill them in on, when I had my Give, Send, Go site originally, I had everything lined out. I've changed that about 16 times since I started, because it's too much information. People just go, "Oh, that's really great. I think I'm going to go
Eyes glaze over.
have a
Yeah.
drink."
Yeah. But the Give, Send, Go wasn't mentioned in your the 12 questions, your one pager. And I think that should go in there. So I'm going to encourage you to show what you have already done, like the link to your app should be in there as well, to show what you have already done, so that people can see that it's not just a dream. You have worked on this. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that needs to be shown. You know, there's a lot of people who have had a lot of dreams, but when you have been tapped by spirit and you have said yes and you have worked in the direction of making it happen, the work that you've done should be, acknowledged and honored. It also shows your commitment, and I encourage you to put that in there. So thank you so much for all that you've done and all that you're doing. I know that for me, your dream, you mentioned others have this global dream. I'm one of them. And, the Our Heart Gardens dream, um, honestly, I have said to Spirit, I don't know how to do this. And I am not going to, I'm not going to build an ark without a team. And I feel that the team is coming together, and I'm not going to put that load on anyone. People need to be inspired to do these things. Otherwise, you're carrying them, and we need to carry each other on this. And so I do feel that the website, Our Heart Gardens website, needs to be updated to show that there is something more than a dream happening. The Humanity Rising needs to be more visible in there. The fact that we have now, it should be more than just an invitation to Gaia's Zoom room. I think there needs to be more in there about it. And the fact that there are people who are seeing the vision as well, and so that people can actually see the dream is falling into place without me doing anything other than everything that I do. It's a weird thing, you know, when you give your heart to spirit, um, and say, you know, I'm all yours, but you're going to have to show me what to do. And that's basically what I've done. You know, and that's, I feel how I got involved with Humanity Rising, and the after chat, and Stan, and Jim Garrison, and Steve Nathan, and Marco Elsterman, and Jamin Shively, Jerry Anderson, and you know, Pati Aguirre. You know, this is the fun part. I mean, these people are coming into my life, being powerful people who have dreams of their own that are part of the vision. And I'm kind of thrilled to be able to be a part of the dream that includes all the dreams. And yeah, so this is kind of the fun part from my perspective. Yeah. Motion, yes. Oh, thank you, Stanley, for remembering Motion. Bunny, do you know Motion? You don't. I'm going to read Stanley's what he's dropped into the chat. For nearly 10 years, Patrick, you're going to use his second name, or is that his first name? You don't know. Mushin Patrick Roberts. For nearly 10 years, Patrick has been reaching out to the men, and especially the young men of the Lakota tribe at the Pine Ridge Reservation in South Dakota, to help them better their lives through the self-awareness that comes from many types of men's work. He and his co-honoree, Sam Ledoux, have started men's circles on the reservation and have been responsible for making the MKP initiatory experience available to nearly 24 Native men in the past year. Patrick is also intimately involved in the Friends of the Lakota Initiative and the Order of the Earth. And that's the Mankind Project. Stanley, Mankind Project, is that the Mankinder or no? You need to activate your microphone.
This is text from like 2 years ago or so. And like I told you, I don't remember much of anything. So, and we lost Motions at somewhere along the lines. He just kept getting more and more angry, not at us, but at the way the world was treating the people he loves.
Yeah.
And this is Mushin was with us as a member of the After Chat for about a year, maybe two, and he was self-described a man from Germany who found himself living on the reservation, and is an artist and a human being. And yeah, I have the page I have in other networks is here. And yeah, it's just a little further down after Bunny's website link. I have the link to the page that I'm quoting from. Okay, and Jerry's leaving us. Oh, and there's a bunch of stuff. Now, Bunny, I'm going to put these links onto your page on other networks, if that's okay with you.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, all those websites tell my life story. In the app, I have a number of videos, interviews that I've done with different groups to talk about the gathering. But the one that the longest standing one of all of them is the Nakotanation.org website. My brother was the last appointed treaty chief of the appointed by the ancient spiritual traditional Oshechi Shakoi back in the 90s at a sacred ceremony at Bear Butte that brought the old time people from up underground to have this ceremony to have him represent the nation. And this was, in that period of time with the demonstrations and marches and the Wounded Knee fiasco and AIM and everything else. And he was invited to speak at the United Nations and was the kind of a chief that was living in Lakota homes in poverty because he was always taking people into his house. Anyway, long story short, he and I met after many, many years, and he gave me all of his paperwork. Every time I go to his place, he'd give me his paperwork this thick. Here, Benny, read this. This is what it's really about. Genocide and this and that. I'm going, oh, too much information. This is wild. Anyway, he passed away and left all that stuff to me. While he was still alive, he wanted me to make a website to represent the spiritual traditional Lakota people. And back then we were called Sioux. And I said, why me? I'm blonde hair and blue eye. Nobody's going to believe I'm Lakota because I'm half a half. And my parents buried that part. Long story short, I've kept that going since before he passed away. And when he passed away, I've kept it alive until today. And there's tons of information there about our great-grandfather, John Grass, and the Standing Rock Reservation. History that has not been told about the Battle of Little Bighorn. There's acres of information in that website, which is the actually root of this Indigenous Healing app, because I could take it no further there. But I was originally with a group right after I started building the app. I met up with a group online that said, don't worry about the finances. Your project is going to work. We'll take care of that. You just work on the project. And that was a blessing to me because that was the first thing, in this material world we think of. How are they going to afford to do this? And the details involved with putting it together and doing it in a good way. And so for that first year, I was relieved of that portion of it and just focused on putting the science and the indigenous wisdom from all these different cultures into that app in a way that I was directed. But then the infighting in that group and there's some beautiful people in there, but needless to say, we parted company because it turns out my project, I was too indigenous. I was supposed to be the indigenous portion of this whole group. And I realized the whole group was designed in a colonized structure, a corporate structure. And so it was a bit of a devastation, but I thought by that time I hadn't cared about raising the money. And now I just understand that it's going to come when it comes in the best way possible. And this beautiful thing you've just shared with me, the Friends of the Lakota Initiative and the Order of the Earth. And I know of so many 501c programs that have come and gone on that reservation and all the reservations. And yet the beautiful thing is there's people there. They just haven't we haven't all met each other yet to manifest this event. So I'm excited every morning I wake up. How are they going to show up and when and how's this going to happen? And when you say a prayer, that's the angel's job. I say, okay, I'll do everything I can today to contact everybody I can. And then I have to trust and just let it go. So that's kind of my journey there. The Bunny Sings Wolf. I'm a singer-songwriter. I've got 10 music CDs that came in dreams. Stonewalker. I'm a stone medicine healer. I do massage. People pay me for that, and that sometimes is the only income that I have, and it's few and far between, but it's just enough to get me by. Indigenous Healing is the app. Give, Send, Go is my GoFundMe site, which I've rewritten about 17 times. Next time you read it, it may be different again. Ride, Heal It. I do a ride service in town, pick up people at the airport we have here and give them a tour of the tower, and they pay me nice money to do that when they fly in, because there's no Ubers or taxis or anything in town. So I'm the Uber. Heal the Fire Department. I'm the Secretary Treasurer. Been doing that for 10 years. Visit Hewlett.com is the Chamber of Commerce. I am the Chamber of Commerce in Hewlett because everybody else quit. It was too much work. I'm just the lowly treasurer, but the secretary, vice president all just said, we're out of here. So I'm trying to reform the Chamber of Commerce, wondering every day if that's something that really needs to be done or not, because nobody shows up to the meetings I invite them to. Big Global Healing is another domain that I took out to try to describe this event, but it takes them, I believe, back to the app. And then matotipala.org, Mato Tipala, Mato Bear, Bear's Home, Bear's Teepee, Home of Bear, is actually what the Lakota, we call it Greyhorn Butte also, but Mato Tipala has an underlying spiritual meaning. Bear is a healer, it's a medicine animal, and it means home of healing, not just a home of bear, but home of healing. So, and that will lead to a site that gives a quote unquote brief description of this event and invites people to download a free music video that I made of one of my dream songs that tries to show in music and art form in the video. It's just my little piece together thing. I'm an amateur. I don't know what I'm doing. And that song is supposed to help people resonate with that love and understand the oneness as one human family that we are. So that's some of the work. That's just a little too much information, I'm sure, but you asked for it, so there it is.
Well, Bunny, I'm glad I asked. And what is true about people like me and you, we've been around long enough that we've tried a few things, and we've got a few things that we've got piled up. um, the experiences that we've done have resonances and pieces left over. I have a few myself, and I'm an amateur, but I have some videos and whatnot. But you know, the strength of what has happened in our lives has changed our lives from what was to what needs to be. Um, and um, and we don't have a clue what needs to be, but the greater hands weave us in the directions that we need to go in, and we create what and the experience of creating these things help us to do the things that we need to do in the future. Um, may I tell you a little story?
Of course.
Um, I had a breakdown back in 2012, and I was in the hospital, and they let me go out. I wasn't allowed to leave the hospital grounds, but I was allowed to walk around the property. And while I was walking around the property, um, I there's this piece of raw land, and it's a big piece, and it was part of the piece that I was allowed to walk around, but it had a stream at the back of the property, but I couldn't get to it from where I was, and and I leaned up against the railing, and my heart went, "I want to go and sit by the stream." And as I said that, I noticed that tangled in the bushes were a black bra and a long black tiered skirt like the one I wear. And when I saw that, my heart broke. And I said, "Help me help." And I walked on from there. And I saw on the other side of the road was a very tall building with at the very top, there was a carved icon of a phoenix. And we had been talking about that in group, and so I was attracted to the building. And then at the bottom of the building, as I walked up closer, at the bottom of the building there was a flower shop in the bottom, and I thought about, oh, it would be so nice to bring some daffodils up because they're bright, and it's, what was it, the end of January or February or something. It was, and it would be so nice to have them on the ward. So I went across the road, breaking the rules. But when I got there, it was closed. But it was so pretty that I was pulled around the corner of the building, looking at all the window, and it was so pretty. And then I noticed on the glass that there was etched into the glass was Kwantlen University. And this wasn't a university. And what would the university be doing here? And I went in, and I asked the girl that's at the counter, and yeah, out of my mouth came my idea for bulrushes could feed the world. And if we started to cultivate them indoors, we could feed everybody. And so I'm going on and how about all the things that you can do with bulrushes and how important this crop was, and it's never been cultivated before. And blah, 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 blah. And she said, "Do you know what we do here?" And I said, "No, what do you do here?" And she said, "Just a minute." And she went and she ruffled through some papers, and she pulled out this 8.5 by 11, 6-page document. She said, "Here, you can have this." And on the front of it was Sweat Lodge. And it's like, oh my gosh, I have been dreaming about Sweat Lodge since I was a little girl at my grandmother's knee. She read to me from a big book about Hiawatha and the Peacemaker. And I I went to that Sweat Lodge for a year of Sundays, and it put me back. I can't say it put me back together again because I don't think I had ever had the experience of being together at all. But it has helped me help. And having that in my background has given me legs to walk with. And I am deeply grateful for the experience. And to have my prayer answered so swiftly makes me wonder why none of the rest of my prayers are getting, well, maybe they are getting answered, but none quite so visibly and so magically. And yet, you know, um, one of the other things that I learned at my grandmother's name was about Hiawatha's girlfriend. Hiawatha's girlfriend in the book that I read was her name was Minnehaha, Laughing Waters, and I was transported by that name, and I thought that there could be nothing better than to have a name that actually meant something, because I was just, Shannon Kathleen McArthur, which was just fine, but I wanted a name that meant something. What I didn't know is that it actually does mean something, but I didn't know that then. And so as time went on, I was given a name that means something. And like yours, Bunny Sings Wolf, I have a name that means something. It's SonLight, sparkling on the waters. And that's why I keep this background. Wow. Thank you for listening. I love my stories. Thank you, Blue. You've always been my best audience. Yeah. And Stan, you're doing other things though, aren't you? You've heard these stories before.
Yeah, I'm looking up Eugene. Eugene is a Lakota who was living here with me for about a year until he and Mabel moved out and get their own place. And I'm looking for Eugene's full name, which I don't see yet. But the picture I put into the chat of the run, Eugene had asked me to donate money to the 500-mile run. That was 2 years ago. So I need to continue searching my stuff until I find how to contact Eugene. He and Mabel moved. Their mail still comes here. So I need to look on the mail to see if I can find Eugene's full name. And yeah.
Well, I hope you keep that contact.
Well, yeah, I want to stay in touch with them, but they're very private people.
Yeah.
When they were living here, we didn't have, like, for the two years that Mabel was seeing Eugene, she got more and more
withdrawn,
and yeah. So she lived with us for 10 years, and now she's gone. And the only thing, every once in a while, she comes by to pick up mail, and there's a pile of mail down on the step now waiting for her. But anyway, this photograph is a picture of the 500-mile run, and we need to find out. It was Eugene's brother that I was sending the money to, so I need to find that information as well. And I don't know if they've had a run this year, or yeah.
I was at Mato Tipola this last summer solstice, and there's a group, Osheti Shakoi, that has, and it's really weird because when I started this website, Lakota Dakota Nakota Nation.org, I used the word Osheti Shakoi, Seven Council Fires, quite frequently. Through that, it was weaved into a lot of activities that are recorded there. And I noticed then all of a sudden Lakota Times in Rapid City and different groups, all of a sudden the reports were, Oseti Sakoi has made this announcement, and Oseti Sakoi, and it's like, there got to be 17 different Oseti Sakois, Seven Council Fires. It's supposed to be the whole nation, So I thought, I don't know who these guys are, but it's almost like when I put it out there on the web, everybody coined the phrase. And anyway, long story short, there is a traditional spiritual group, again, of very humble people. You won't see them here wearing their big headed dresses and have long descriptions of all their titles and accomplishments. They're just humble Lakota traditional spiritual medicine teachers, and they have been gathering for the last 5 years, made a commitment for, I think it was 7 years or 9 years, to resume our sacred ceremonies at all of our sacred sites that coordinate with the Star Nations and our Star Knowledge. And I know I've been here seen other groups that claim to be star wisdom keepers, and and all this stuff. And I've tried to join many of them or get to know them or introduce myself, but always when I came across these groups, something weird would happen that would just like separated us. So okay, it's not meant to be. But this group I've been going with, and our first ceremony was at the Big Medicine Wheel up in Montana. And we invited people from all different tribes to come. And it was beautiful, people from Florida and California, but it was a real, for the nations involved, it was a very small, humble group. And they all told stories. And then we had a very ancient ceremony right there in that medicine wheel with the park's permission, which was beautiful. But this last time, that's a long story short, I could go on forever, but on the summer solstice, we got permission to have our sweat lodge in the old sweat lodge frame that is still behind the tower. I've visited there so many times and said prayers and cried, and to be able to go to a ceremony and you be there was just like, oh. And the medicine man was a thunder. His medicine is thunder beings, and the minute we all got in there, the thunderstorms came and it crashed and banged and lights all around. I think I was glad I wasn't a firekeeper outside with them because the rain and the hail and everything came. And when we came out, it was just a swamp out there. And we just sang. We were so happy because we knew we had the medicine of the thunder beings. And when I came out when we came out of it, there was a tree that the lightning had hit, not 8 feet from where I was sitting in that little humble place. Yeah. But they said, show up tomorrow and we're going to have a ceremony. And so at 9 o'clock in the morning, I came back there and there's all this line of cars there. And there's this huge circle of young people. And apparently Orville Looking Horse had arranged a run. It was a mending of the hoop run. And all these young people were there ready to do the run from Mato Tipolo all the way back to Pine Ridge. And this was a day, it was 100 degrees out. And it was amazing to be there that morning, but I didn't see anybody in the circle. I looked the whole circle. I didn't see one familiar face. And because I knew it was going to be a pipe ceremony at Chanupa, I wore my regalia. And so all these other people were dressed in their running clothes and their T-shirts and their shorts and stuff. And I'm the only blonde-haired person in the group. So I joined the circle. And come to find out, that's what this gathering was about, to send these young people off with prayer. And it was just so exciting. And of course, we all shook hands around this huge circle. There had to be maybe 200 people there with their mothers and grandmas and aunties and everything. So off they went. I thought, well, I wonder where my group is. I showed up here at 9. And I drove back around to the campground, and there was where my group was. And then elderly medicine woman gave us all a lecture on being on guard.
You were where you were supposed to be, Bunny.
Chanupa ceremony. But I just had to share that with you because these runs are ways of announcement, of celebration and carrying the word across the land in the old way. It's like a news broadcast, and to know that there are these beautiful young people and their parents still living in abject poverty, all still doing these traditional things to honor all our relations. It's just absolutely beyond belief gorgeous and beautiful. And So there's a lot of life there. And this same group, just on the QT, is working with a deal with thousands of acres that have buffalo on it. We're working on a big project there too. That's all I'm going to say. And that's totally separate from my project. They're totally aware of what I'm doing. They had given me their blessing to do it this coming summer solstice, but the Park Service said there's just no way we can handle that and the tourist traffic. So I'm resetting a date, hopefully with their prayers and blessing. I don't want to place the date until I get the whole council to pray about it and say, yeah, we're not doing anything special. That's your time. So there's so many backstories to this experience. I feel so blessed. And I just am so thankful and grateful that you guys listened to me tonight and asked to hear about it, because I don't often get an opportunity to share it with people. And it's all these different pieces and parts that are dangling all around me and lighting up the sky in my home here. So thanks for letting me pass
Oh,
some stuff
absolutely,
along.
Bunny. You're
It's great synchronicity, Thank you for being here.
Oh, that. And it helps to talk about our dreams together. I know that Stan and I have talked about our dreams, and well, maybe more me talking about my dreams and Stan listening. And his the thing is that my dreams aren't possible without the dreams that Stan has made happen in his life. And other networks, for me, Stan, really makes a difference. It gives um, my dreams something tangible to build on, you know. And Steve, although you're being very quiet today, um, I couldn't imagine how to do what needs to be done, because that's just not what I do. So what Steve has brought in with his connections and the finance aspect, I couldn't. That's a piece of the dream that I could not put together. And I do invite you, Steve, to be a part of the conversation. But until you activate your mic, I'm going to go to Marco, because now I can see his face.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, my face is back. Oops, echo.
Can we hear you now? Just taking a sec. Okay. Because Marco and Jamin and the conversation.cc are another part of the dream that I was given. And so, Marco.
Wow. Which, in case you didn't know, his mom flipped upside down.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's just it. Without a dream, what are we? We're just pointless. So
we're being woven one way or another.
And when, we can come together and share our dreams, it's like you said, weaving. It's like, that cloth of humanity comes together. And fortunately, we come from all different colors of skin. So I think woven together, we make a beautiful fabric. And we're working on our part of the dream, our piece of it. With Kindred Spirits, we'll be doing another series of events in 2025 summer. more will be heard on Enlightening Our Way Together. We'll have some more parts of that haven't quite come together yet. We don't have a specific date in the summer, but probably July-ish, either way from July. And there's so many different indigenous peoples coming together. And we've got the Americas, now we've got the Africans, we've got, people like the people from Friesland. And they're just every day it's more people on board to, fulfill all the versions of the prophecy that's out there that says we will come together as one human family and save ourselves from the peril we've created for ourselves.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what the heck, what's better than that? And then, there's so many things. I'm so grateful for Chief Phil that he connected me to his medicine man and got me going on the plant medicine journeys. There's some just I re-listened to the second one the other night, and it's funny to listen to yourself. Like the first time you listen to the recording after you've done it, and you're like, "The hell did he just say?" Oh my God, what's he going to say next? Because I thought didn't think much of it. I listened to it for the first time with Christopher in the room, and fortunately he had fallen asleep and he didn't hear what I needed to process before anybody else heard it again.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I so many of the things that we talk about in these circles, and so much of the indigenous wisdom is the way it comes through is just it's mind-boggling sometimes. And I just want to be grateful for all the things that I'm learning about indigenous healing and plant medicine, and grateful for the Western medicine that got me through today. I was able to go to the ER, get diagnosed, get what I needed right now, pain medicine and muscle relaxants to break this cycle I've got going on here. And there's places in the world there's just nothing. There's no indigenous medicine left and no modern medicine. Imagine how horrible it is for all those people. And we have to make that better. And that's the essence of the dream, and the the message behind kindred spirits and out of kindred spirits is, if you do look at the definitions of kindred spirits, it's those who have in common needs, wishes, desires, beliefs. And when it comes right down to it, any of us, except for a handful of psychos out there, they are there, and they need help too. All anybody really wants is food, shelter, and we can do without either one of those sometimes, as long as we're able to love and be loved.
Yeah. Well said, Marco. Thank you. Thank you. You bet. Yeah, we're figuring this out. And the work that I'm doing with Jim Garrison and Humanity Rising is a part of all of this. It is the opportunity for learning that we are offering to people so that they know more about what's going on in the world than what they have been what they've heard on the news and what they hear from, Aunt Agatha, or Grandpa Joe. Um, you know, we need to inform each other, and we need to do it outside the structures of mass anything, and um, sharing the wisdom and knowledge of people like the people that we get to see on Humanity Rising is something worth sharing. And I want to bring in Steve, if you would be so kind, Steve. I'm going to ask you to unmute and be a part of this conversation. I I know that you've been sitting in the background listening, but you mentioned thoughts about the new year, wanting to talk about the new year, and I don't do a lot of planning, and so that's one of the things that I'm um, I mentioned I need a team. That's because I'm not a planner, and I'm not a finance person. I'm a friend, and I'm a talker, and I've got stories, and I talk about magic, and and if I had to do all of this all by myself, it would never get anywhere. And Stan, the what you have created in other networks, that's just it's so impressive to me. And Marco, keeping the conversation.cc available and usable for Gaia's Zoom room and all the other things that you're doing. I am very, very grateful for all that you're doing. And I now see that Steve has turned on his camera and his microphone. Hello, Steve.
Hey, how are you?
I have moments of brilliance.
I'm multitasking.
Uh-huh. And
So,
we only have a few more minutes left, if any. Yes, one more minute.
was there something you wanted specifically, or I had stepped away, so I didn't hear, and
Well,
just you had texted, please, unmute.
Well, you mentioned in the chat privately to me thoughts about the new year and things we discussed, and I would love you to talk about that.
Okay. So I kind of believe. Give me 1 second. Let me just pour this, turn that kettle on, and then you can have my undivided attention.
Well, thank you. You do that. I want to thank everybody for being here and a part of Gaia's Zoom room and my life. And now here's Steve.
So I believe that if we're going to really make a difference in the world, we have to be a little bit better organized.
Hey, you've been talking to Jack? Jack
Jack believes that too.
says those exact words every time he gets to talk to somebody.
Just a little bit, because I know that the financial powers that be are organized. If we're going to make differences, I think we need to take a slightly different approach with the call. I think bringing projects into focus is a big part of it. But some of the things that I mentioned to Shannon were that I thought we should have a focus every month, whether an issue of some kind, so that each week we have conversation about those issues. And that maybe at the end of the month, we have a long segment, like maybe 30 minutes, discussing world events and seeing how our projects will make a difference in the world that way. and just trying to create a slightly more structured call, because that's what'll get things done, is making sure that we're focused, intentional, and to the point. We have a lot of big things going on. We need to be able to say exactly what we want, what we're doing, what we need, and figure out how are we going to get it. Those are my thoughts.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks very much. And that is certainly something to think about. Bunny, you smiled when he said that. And I'm going to ask.
Yes. May I share something with you? Maybe this would be a good way to close. It's 6 leadership principles to learn from an eagle. And our indigenous healing, the major teachers of our ancestors was the natural world. So here's a few leadership principles to learn from an eagle to maybe complement what Steve just said. Number 1, eagles fly alone and at high altitudes. They don't fly with sparrows or ravens and other small birds. And the meaning is stay away from narrow-minded people, those that bring you down. Eagle flies with eagle. So keep good company. And I think we have great company here. Number 2, eagles have an accurate vision. They have the ability to focus on something as far as 5 kilometers away. No matter the obstacles, the eagle will not move his focus from the prey until he grabs it. Meaning is have vision, remain focused no matter what the obstacles, and you will succeed. Eagles do not eat dead things. They feed only on fresh prey, meaning we don't need to rely on our past successes, but keep looking for new frontiers to conquer. Leave our past where it belongs in the past. Eagles love the storm. I love this one. When clouds gather, the eagle gets excited. The eagle uses the storm winds to lift itself higher. Once it finds the wind of the storm, the eagle uses the raging storm to lift itself above the clouds. This gives the eagle an opportunity to glide and rest its wings. In the meantime, all the other birds hide in the branches and leaves of the trees. And the meaning is face your challenges head on, knowing that these will make you emerge stronger and better than you were. We can use the storms of life to rise together to greater heights. Achievers are not afraid to rise to greater heights. Achievers are not afraid of challenges. Rather, they relish them and use them profitably. And the 5th thing is eagles prepare for training. And I love this one too. They remove the feathers and soft grass in the nest so that the young ones get uncomfortable in preparation for flying. And eventually they fly when it becomes unbearable to stay in the nest. And the meaning is leave your comfort zone. There's no growth there. And the last one, and this about broke my heart when I first read it. I really had to think about it. When the eagle grows old, his feathers become weak and cannot take him as fast and as high as it should. This makes him weak and could make him die. So he retires to a place far away in the mountains. While there, he plucks out the weak feathers on his body and breaks its beaks and claws against the rocks until he is completely bare, a very bloody and painful process. Then he stays in his hiding place until he has grown new feathers, new beaks, and new claws, and then he comes out flying higher than ever before. The meaning is we occasionally need to shed off old habits, no matter how difficult, things that burden us or add no value to our lives should be let go of. So it's an encouragement, never give up. And we always have room for improvement and organization and use of our time and the ways we can heal ourselves and our lives. And every aspect of our life is part of that process of healing. So never give up, keep at it. And I'm looking forward to seeing you all in a couple of weeks to see how we've all progressed from this moment forward.
Thanks very much, Bunny. Wise wisdom from the Eagles. I've heard that story before. I heard it was about 60 years old, and I thought, yeah, that's kind of human-like. Yeah, you become a new bird. This is a good thing to think of as we are moving into a new year. And I treasure the people that have gathered here with me. Thank you so much for being a part of my reality, part of Gaia's Zoom room. And may all of your best dreams come true, except for one, whatever that small one is. It will be the seed for the future. And if anyone else would like to have a word, you're more than welcome. But I am done for the year. I love you so much. Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you, Shannon. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye for now.
Oh, do I have Bunny's contact information? I must have an email.
You know that agenda? That
Mhm.
agenda has her information in it, I believe. Yep. Or Bunny Sings Wolf. I don't see your email address in there, Bunny. But she's going to put it in this. Thank you so much. Angela, thanks for coming. Sleep well, girl. Yeah. Safe travels.
Yeah, for sure. It'll be quite a journey. It'll be a good one though.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Keep in touch. You don't have to have Gaia Zoom room in order to keep in touch.
Yeah, I'll keep in touch for sure. I'll keep in touch. I'll make time for it.
Okay, good. Okay. Bye for now. Bye, Joan. Bye, Stan. Bye, Steve. Bye, Marco. I love you.